Welcome to Driven Flawed and to my XJS convertible. If you've been following this, you know that this was a little bit of an out there idea wrapped around a forthcoming wedding, that we were going to try and pull this car up from the south of France, where we found it in a barn owned by someone who had a carbon copy coupe. We bought the convertible. The guy drove it all the way up from almost the Spanish border, and here it is today. If you're interested in the story of that, there'll be another video around that. You can check that out. But today we're getting nitty gritty. Today we're looking into what's known as the ski slope, this central console area where the wood is very poor. I'm going to try and rip that out, which I've never done before, and we're going to see if I can repair it and do something nice with it. This is the ski slope, which is not in great shape. The solution for this is going to be black. So we have this regular stock dash top which runs on down the sides and so on, and I got some material that is super similar to this. So the plan is get this out, get the veneers off, rub it down, refinish it with a material like this, and then reinstall it all. And I think black there is going to look quite nice. The very early XJS's, the ski slope was black in any case, and that's the plan. I'm sure there are better ways to do it, but why not explore with me? I kind of imagine it would be a good plan to dismantle the ashtrays. If I put everything on the floor in the kind of order it comes out, then, where are we? Different screwdriver. Be very careful with these screws. I've got a little magnetic screwdriver thing, which is helpful. I don't want them dropping down inside the mechanism, but I'm assuming now that there are two done, this is all lovely and loose and easy. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. Oh my word. This is like pulling up a floorboard and finding a load of rat droppings. That, all the way down through there, is the ash from the finest French cigars. Probably not French cigars, I can't remember what they were, but the chap I bought it from was fond of a cigar. A little clean out when this ski slope comes out mightn't be a bad idea. Oh, look at that. I didn't know that was going to happen. How was that even fastened in there? I was not expecting it to be easy. I just reach in and push those straight up. I'm going to need two hands to do that bit. Push the base and that releases it. And then it just slid out really easily once I'd done that. That is a result. Right, that can pop down on the floor as well. I imagine this side is going to be essentially the same. And let's maybe whip the cigar out. That would have been very well used over the years. Oh, looks like those connectors will be reasonably straightforward to remove. It was just two connectors and then the bulb slid out from that casing, which leaves us with that little one there, and then the round one, and then a bulb. So there's not going to be any great drama as to where they go, because that's going to be obvious which ones they go back on. Okay, what do I approach next? Oh, this thing's already loose, and I can see those lovely easy connectors underneath it. So I'm going to pop those three out as well. I think I'm just going to grab a marker pen, and I can write down on those little cream casings, you know, whether they're for the roof or the window or whatever. Okay, the obligatory Sharpie has arrived. So I'm just going to mark those up. I have to say, I'm rather pleased with myself for having thought of doing that, because that was going to be a problem. So they're all nicely marked up, offside window, roof and near side window. I can now remove them without fear. We're doing all right. I haven't tackled the gear lever yet, but otherwise we're doing all right. Maybe I should. How does that come off and come up? Feels like I'm going to just muck it up and damage it. What I've discovered, just from the prodding and the pulling while I was trying to deal with this, is that if you notice, as I pull the ski slope up, this piece comes up and down with the ski slope. When I get the ski slope loosed to the rest of the console, happy days. It's going to clearly come off. So I haven't got to try and do anything with that. That's actually ready, which takes us, I believe, from what I did read, back to here. And what's kind of fun is that this material here, this is exactly what I plan on covering here. So I've got to have a lovely tie in there. under this clip for the storage unit is then the screws that hold this in place. So we've got two little screws here and here. We get these kiddies up. That's interesting. That is where the screw goes. I don't have one. So, okay, that's going to be more straightforward than I thought. We're now in the business of just prizing and pulling, just trying to get this freed up a little bit. Maybe it's just 30 years of, oh, there we are. 30 years of not having been done. Look at that original wood. How lovely is that? Jaguar at its finest. It was a nice veneer once upon a time. Anyhow, not anymore. The rear of this is up now. You can see it's happily coming free. We've clearly got these two little bolts in here, one this side and one the other side down in here. I am going to need to remove, and that looks like it's the final job, and then I think we will be in business. You'll see as this is starting to lift, these bolts you only need to loosen because it's a U type shape. So as I begin to lift this up, you'll see they just come off. Oh, there we are. Hey, look at that. I remember someone telling me, stick it in neutral. There we go. You see, tip from the pros, stick it in neutral. Look at that. Pretty tidy underneath. Clips are all nice, all good condition. And I have a lovely amount of access. So I'll find myself a hoover, clean that stuff up a little bit, tidy it up, and get it a bit more presentable so that all that junk that's down there, when it all goes back together, it's going to look nice. So I have no idea if this is the way to go about this, but that's the next plan. So we'll see. This could be a bad idea, but I'm going to give it a go. It's lifting off pretty easily. This is going to be a messy job, I can see. It's really coming off quickly. Really going to leave us with quite a nice solid bit of steel there. Just do this other end. I'm really happy with that.
We are making good progress. I can't quite believe how straightforward that was. It's going to need a bit of a rub down and a clean, but happy days.
So this has now been cleaned up. I'm going to have at it with a little bit of a fine grade paper just to make sure there's no bumps. Just so I'm clear I've got a really nice smooth finish before I start looking at applying anything else on top of it. So this is the fabric that I've used. It's a brand called DC Fix. I'll put a link down at the bottom, but you can see I've started to cover the whole thing with it. It just folds under. It's a self-adhesive material, so once you've applied it with a little care to the front, pull the backing off, you end up in this position where obviously we've got no holes, and I'm going to begin to finish cutting. Finding a scalpel is the easiest way to do that. So I'm back outside again because I can actually see better here, but these overflow where they've wrapped round underneath. I'm just going to pull these through, get them clear, and then attempt the cutting. That's the excess all dealt with. What I'm doing is now going into these corners and just coming through, and then this will fold back inside on itself. Just check that. That's really good. Just get the other holes done. So it's looking pretty amazing. Really happy with that. Now I've just got to pull out the middle section for the gear area. Honestly, if I could really have been bothered, I'd have got a tripod or something to set the stupid camera up so that I wasn't doing this job one-handed. I can promise you. Doing this with two hands, it's going to be much simpler. Okay, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. Can't quite believe what I'm seeing. The very slightly angular edge to that is not going to matter at all once that little kiddie back in place. I am delighted with the result, but yeah, let's get the job finished off. It matches really nicely the dash covering. You may remember yesterday I have pretty messy inside here, so I'm going to give that a hoover before we start reassembling things. That is looking better. Now, I'm going to take care with this. Let's just apply the brake, hit some neutral, drop this on, and begin to see how this is going to come together. Pop that back up. I think it's going to want a bit of kind of gentle bending and persuading. Can't quite believe how fantastic that looks. Anyway, I got to get over myself here and stop being pleased with what's happened. I'm just going to ease this down a little bit. Bit of help from my trusty screwdriver. There we go. 1, 2. Ah, there we are. This goes back on. And then once they're basically in and you're happy with how it's sitting, you know, yeah, it's clipping well, you can finish the fastening. Happy days. So, switches. Look at that. It's simply extraordinary. I am really surprised with what I've managed to do with a bit of, frankly, fairly cheap material, and whatever it's taken me time-wise, not very long at all. I'm really pleased with it. This material and the way it sits in there now just looks great. And you can see its similarity. This is the Jag dash. Its similarity is just extraordinary. I just couldn't be happier. Look, I mean, I think that looks really good. Thanks for staying with me. It's been a really interesting little project. A small thing, but a fun thing, very achievable for anybody to do.